What's up, good people? Thank you for clicking play on another episode of Big Man, Tiny Kingdom. Hello to all you beautiful people around the world. Recently, I had the honor and privilege to visit the state park that I'm going to name my favorite of 2022. And actually, it has taken over as my new favorite of all time. If you've been following along on my camping adventures, then you'll know that last year I talked about Lyman Lake and how much I enjoyed camping at that Arizona State Park. Well, I'm excited to share with you all what has me in love with Kartchner Caverns State Park. Located in Benson, Arizona, it is south of Tucson and about a 2.5-hour drive from Mesa, where I live. This was a drive that I really enjoyed because going south, there's little to none of having to worry about driving uphill. Even though for Arizona, when you're heading up north to places like Payson, Sedona, Flagstaff, and the Grand Canyon, that's where you get to see the beautiful green landscapes, you get the mountains, you drive to the western part of the state, and you get to experience a larger portion of the Colorado River. I'm a water person, so getting to spend a week at the Colorado filled my soul with joy. Whereas in the central part of Arizona where I live, it's flat, it's dry, everything's brown and dirty red. It's the desert, so for me, it's not as breathtaking as the northern and western parts of the state. But every area in Arizona has this unique element that I treasure about it, which is a perfect segue into what I got to experience on my trip to Kartchner Caverns. Now, I'm not going to get overly detailed about my time at the park. I truly feel like if you live in Arizona or if you're visiting, Kartchner Caverns is definitely a place that you want to spend the day, or several days in my case, and be a tourist. Real quick, let me glance over my full stay there so that I can get to why I use the word treasure to describe this state park. Lately, I've been making a lot more camping reservations. Usually I'm camping out the back of my pickup truck, but I am really enjoying staying in the cabins at the state parks. Kartchner Caverns only has 4 cabins, plenty of space inside, nice big porch patio, perfect amenities for the occasion, spread out nicely between each other so you're not overbearing or intruding on your camping neighbors and vice versa. Wasn't a whole lot of people there at the time that I went, so it was very quiet, peaceful, and to me, that makes for a great time because when I go on my camping getaways, it's truly to emphasize the getting away part for me, escaping the everyday life routine, not being in close view of a bunch of people, noisy traffic, dogs barking. I'm purposely wanting to eliminate myself from all of the normal sounds you expect to hear living in a busy city environment. I got all of that and a bag of chips during my stay at Kartchner Caverns. It's a beautiful campground. The whole park is fabulous. The hiking trails, plus the nearby destinations that I spent some of the days in the area exploring. It's not that far of a drive to get to Tombstone, Sierra Vista, Bisbee, and even if you want to cross over into Mexico, which I won't say anything more about those right now because I'm saving them for a future episode. I didn't bring my bike with me on this trip, but I probably should have. And next time I definitely will, because the way that the park is laid out with all the paved road that it has, I could have gotten in some good bike riding. Another thing that for me made Kartchner Caverns a great visit was the visitor center. This is where the entertainment aspect kicks it up 1,000. There's some very interesting exhibit rooms that talk about what all the park has to offer, what wildlife you can see there, some history about the area. There's a movie room where it shows a documentary of how it all came to be. The visitor center is massive and will take you some time to go through it all. I'm going to guess that it has to be the biggest visitor center out of all of the Arizona state parks. I'm assuming that's on purpose because of it being attached to the highlight of the park. And ladies and gentlemen, that would be the underground caves that I got the pleasure to tour. One thing about me is that whenever I go out on a camping trip, wherever it is, I intentionally am searching for the presence of our Creator in that location. Being out in nature touches my soul, brings me to a vibe where I feel more connected to my spiritual higher being. Now, for those that have done the heavy research, have explored and examined significant places and things, and their data leans them more to believing that science is why all of this that we see has happened, I can get down with being an analytical thinker. I can understand viewing things consciously and constructively. Even I look for the math to calculate correctly in all areas of my life. However, science, it ain't you when it comes to the Kartchner Caverns. Good people, let me tell you, I spent a few hours walking through those underground caves. It was interesting listening to the tour guide tell the story of the men that take credit for discovering them, talk about how state officials put together the money and resources and passed the legislation to dig further into these caves. The tour guide spoke about the evolution process that occurred with all of the things that grew and which are still growing down in those caves, the bats that call the caves home. Every scientific theory that he presented to explain how all of what you see in those caves came to be, despite how knowledgeable he was about that absolutely beautiful nature exhibit, my mindset was in one place. And at the end of the tour, while I was watching this very cool, entertaining light show that remarkably showed off the cave's limestones, I remember saying to myself at that moment, hallelujah, praise be to the name of the Creator, for this treasure cave has truly been touched by the Most High. That's just how I was feeling. I felt like, sure, man can try to explain this place with scientific theories, and man can try to stake claim to it. But this was the doings of the Creator. The Creator blessed those two men to find it and blessed all of the townspeople who took part in making it possible for all of us today to walk through those caves and see it with our own eyes. The park has a policy that you cannot take a camera with you while you're in the caves, which I totally understand. It is a fundraiser for the state parks, so it makes sense to keep it profitable. I'm all for that. And they take really great care and concern for the caves. I think their expectations of visitors is absolutely righteous. I applaud them for putting a major emphasis on wanting to protect the contents of the caves. It was a pleasurable treat and experience for me. I enjoyed it so much that I paid for 10 students at Benedictine University to go there for their own cave tour. And they did let me know that they had a great day there. I knew they would appreciate it just like I did. I'm so glad that they got to go. And I hope that all of you listening that live in Arizona or plan a vacation here, that you consider making a visit to Kartchner Caverns State Park. Well, good people, this is a wrap for season 2. What a fun-filled year it has been for me. I got to stay at more campgrounds than I did the year before. I've just about completed my goal of visiting all of the Arizona state parks and also all of the Maricopa County parks. 2023 will be less camping for me and more traveling and vacationing in other places. I will be going on my first ever cruise. I will also be putting my very first stamp in my passport book. Not yet sure which country I will be visiting first, but I told myself that now is the time to get my international travel started. And next year, I will also be making a second attempt at home ownership. I did not get approved for a loan this year, but I've increased my income. I've eliminated a lot of debt and improved my overall credit profile. So fingers crossed, 2023 will be the year. I wish for all of you to be out there living your life real big. Keep it kosher, good people. This is Big Man, Tiny Kingdom.